Welcome in, Gary Ayd, Rich, and Selmo. And hey, good day. Nice Tuesday. And on top of it being Tuesday, Rich, you know what else it is? It is Happy Met Fit Redemption Day. Within minutes of us signing off air yesterday, minutes from the Gramageddon, we now have Verlander to the rescue. Justin Verlander joins the Mets, reunites with old Tigers co-ace Max Scherzer. Yeah, they're a little older now. They got some gray hair. But you know what? Justin Verlander's married to Kate Upton and you're not, so gray hair doesn't matter.
Yeah, really. Well, it's tough to be him. Huh?
I'm telling you, man. So ultimately now, the Mets basically filled that void. And I got to tell you, I'm much more comfortable with Verlander. I think it was 2 years, 86 million or something like that. I'm much more comfortable with that than 185 million over 6 years with Jake, because Verlander is more durable. And I almost spoke it into existence. I feel like I'm just like repeating myself from 24 hours ago. I said these exact same things. I guess they were listening. I guess they were listening.
You need a finder's fee.
I'm telling you, I'll take
all of them.
I'll take 0.5%. A quarter of a percent. It's fine. Whatever. What is that? Even a 0.5% is what? $4 million? Yeah, I'm down. Like, let's go.
Yeah.
2 million? Okay, fine. We're good. Whatever the case may be, Justin Verlander now a member of the New York Mets officially. This is big news. I mean, because this is a team that's trying to win a championship. They're competing for a title. And the truth of the matter is they don't have forever to do it. I mean, they have a couple of like young benchmark guys, Pete Alonso, Jeff McNeil. They're not young anymore. They've been in the league a few years now, but they're still in their 20s, or maybe just turning 30 in the case of McNeil. I'd have to take a look. But I mean, you have Alvarez probably coming up, if not the start of this year, probably at some point this year to take over that catching role. But, there's a number of guys on this roster that are, a little bit longer in the tooth. I mean, Starling Marte comes to mind. Obviously Max Scherzer. Edwin Diaz is still in his prime. Chris Bassett, if you retain him, he's not a spring chicken. I mean, so you have a mix of young and old here, and it's time to go and try to get the win. And this is the thing you love about Steve Cohen if you're a Met fan. Reports came out that he wasn't happy with how his management team handled the DeGrom negotiations. So the reports are that Cohen took a proactive personal approach immediately following the DeGrom signing in Texas to ensure that they landed their man with Verlander. And assuming that's all true, that's exactly what you like to see as a Met fan. You imagine the Wilpons saying that? Well, first of all, wait, how much money? Yeah, no. We'll sign Justin Bieber instead. He's kind of related to Shane Bieber, right? Like maybe he's okay. He's like, no, man, he's more expensive and he sucks at pitching. He plays basketball and he sings. He doesn't play baseball. It's like, but can you imagine the Wilpons? I mean, my God, first of all, we wouldn't have any of these guys. And second of all, is Jeff getting off his butt, or is Fred canceling his real estate showing to come and try to sign Justin Verlander or any player for that matter? Not a chance in hell. You love this if you're a Met fan. It signifies, again, as if we needed any more proof, that this guy's in it to win it. And for as long as he owns the team, I have confidence that the Mets are going to be competitive or attempting to be competitive each and every year. And that's all you can ask as a fan. You want the ownership to give a good faith effort to putting a good team on the field every year. And if you get that effort, some years it will work out, some years it won't. But if you feel that it's going that way and that's what the ownership wants, ultimately, if you're a reasonable fan, that's all you really want. I mean, like, I feel for like Pittsburgh and Baltimore and Arizona and teams like that. Those owners don't even pretend to care most of the time. Every once in a while they wake up.
Yeah.
They wake up every once in a while, like Texas is doing right now. Oh, we should get good. Oh, let's money. But then then they like go 10 years and they go, So it's like it's nice to see as a fan of a team an ownership that wants it every year. I mean, like you must feel that way as a Clipper fan with Ballmer there in place of Donald Sterling. I don't love the
Yeah.
way that went down, but it was certainly a monumental upgrade for the Clippers and by extension the league.
Oh yeah, and at least he's going to try to be
Right,
competitive.
he cares. He wants to have a good team.
Right.
And
And
you love that.
regarding what you said, yeah, I think it was Cohen because Cohen kind of tipped the media
He did.
right before it happened.
He did. Yeah, he did.
So yeah, he was involved.
Oh yeah.
And like you said, you could see the difference already.
Oh, it's obvious. And that's I'm sure that's why Verlander came here. In fact, I saw a quote, I believe it was authentic, from him and Upton, from him and Kate Upton, that the Yankees actually offered more money, but they wanted to play with the Mets because Met fans aren't booing Met players. A reference to them booing Aaron Judge, who had a historic season. And like, you know what? Fans can boo when they want, but the flip side to that is players can say, I don't want to put up with that if I have a choice.
Right.
That's part of it. I mean, it is off-putting to someone of a certain viewpoint. It is. Now, do I think players should just deal with it? Yeah, pretty much I do. But like if you're a free agent, you have the right to say that's important to me. I don't want to deal with it. And
and it's easy to say just deal with it. I mean, they're all human beings. Nobody wants to be booed.
Yeah, no, I get it. I mean, it's no one wants that. But
I mean, it shouldn't affect your game.
Yeah, and I guess if
with some people it does.
Right. And I guess if you have a choice and you think, well, I could go to this city, like New York's a rare case where you have two teams in one city. It's like, okay, well, I could go to one and
Let
not
me pick the one which fan base doesn't suck. Okay.
Right, exactly, basically. And
it's an easy decision.
It wasn't about the money as much. I mean, it was, but like I guess the Mets probably were close enough that mattered. So, and I also think right now the Mets are just a more appealing destination. The Yankees feel stuffy, corporate, stale, and just blah. And that continued because they re-signed Brian Cashman to a 4-year deal yesterday. And every Yankee fan I know on social media is just like, come on, man. Every one of them.
I'm reading people that are just angry.
Oh, they're mad as hell. It's so
we get
funny.
More of the same. I see Judge wants 9 years.
Yep, he'll get it.
And I think the Giants are willing to give it to him.
Yeah, he'll get it.
Bassett, you said he's no spring chicken. He wants 4 years. Would you do it? Is it reasonable?
It's a long time. If I could front load it, I would do it. Like if it was like say 4 years and let's just say 80 million, 20 million a year. If I could pay him 30 million a year the first 2 years and then 10 million a year the last 2,
okay,
I would do that. I would want to front load it though because I'm expecting him because he's not one of those guys that I think's gonna age well. He's one of those guys that the second he goes from like 92 to 91 on his fastball, it's going to make like a big difference in his ERA. His ERA is going to go up a whole point the second he loses that 1 point on. That's just what I think. Like, like I've seen guys like this, like a guy that this reminds me of, like Tom Glavine, obviously a way better pitcher than Chris Bassett, but like Glavine was never a big velocity guy, but he was always in like the low 90s. When he went from averaging like 91 or 92 to like 90 or 89, that like couple of miles an hour, his ERA went from like the mid 3s to like the mid 5s, in the high 4s.
Yeah.
Like guys like this, when they lose just a tiny little bit, it like totally screws their game. Justin Verlander's, well, they threw 101. So if they throw 97, it's still plenty fast enough.
Right.
That makes a big difference.
He's proficient at the art of pitching
as
well, and that makes a big difference.
That makes a difference. And Bassett's a good pitcher in that respect too, but ultimately I think that it matters when you have when you have the ability to lose a little bit off your heater and still have it be a good speed. So, anyway, very, very big day if you're a Met fan. I was super excited about it. What a way to rebound, right? It's like, hey,
Yeah.
one supermodel dumped me. Madonna dumped me. Oh well, now I'm dating Mariah Carey. How about that? That's Derek Jeter status right there. Look
Long
at
as she
this.
doesn't sing that Christmas song, fine.
Oh, come on, man. Don't be such a Grinch. Come on, Scrooge. Boo.
There are some Christmas songs I love. That's not one of
That's
them.
not one of them. Uh,
The Phillies seem to be serious too.
yes. Yep.
11 years for Trey Turner.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
300 mil.
A lot of money. So yeah,
It's actually going to be a bargain.
the
Get
base
down to it, it's less than 30 million a year.
That's true. The baseball hot stove definitely heated up, and I love it because like the last couple of years, it's been such a whimper. Like I mean, remember Bryce Harper? It took him like and Manny Machado. Like it was spring training before either one of them was signed.
Yeah.
That was terrible, and that was like pre-COVID. So they can't even like blame COVID on that. Like that was just like, guys, what happened? Like, did people forget to pay the natural gas bill? Is that why we don't have a hot stove this winter? It's freezing out cold. It's like, what happened, people? Where are we? So this year, much better. It's not even
they
that.
have to be realizing the importance of being seen.
Oh
even
yeah,
in the off season too. The last thing you want to do is have nothing every day. Nothing new to report on. At least this way you're getting news.
yeah, you're getting news, and it's relevant. I mean, look, it's leading the show because, I mean, and it helps that in this case, it's New York based too, of course. So that's why it's even bigger. But you know, Trey Turner is a big story. You know, it's a division rival for the Mets, so that's relevant. No, it's great. I absolutely love it.
Now it's all the Mets need to do is see if Dansby Swanson can play third base.
Yeah, that would be great. I would love it.
He's got the arm at shortstop.
He sure does. He sure does. I would even move Lindor to third if necessary. I see Notoriety Sports is telling us now they're going to the local YMCA to find a solid closer and fourth starter. Nah, come on, man. Like maybe the fourth starter, but Edwin Diaz is a beast.
He's a closer.
Let's calm down a little bit. Edwin Diaz is a monster. I mean, he had an awful first year, and I'll be the first to say that. And I was not on the Edwin Diaz train again until about halfway through this year. But he won me back over. I mean, that guy's an animal. I remember watching one particular game. I think he had like 3 strikeouts on like 12 pitches in like under 3 minutes. It was under 5 minutes. It was boom, 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 boom. And like no one could touch anything. It was crazy. And he did that so many times this year.
He got better and better as the year went on, too.
Total bulldog. I'm all about Edwin Diaz right now. Fourth starter, maybe. Right now, yeah, I'd have to take a look at what the Mets rotation looks like because I think there's still a couple of guys. Bass is one of them unsigned. I can't remember if Walker is another one. So they might have some depth issues in that starting rotation. That's a very valid point. But those are things you can solve.
There's still people out there.
There's people out there. Those are things you can make midseason trades for, midseason call-ups. You know, there's ways to massage that. If you have 3 solid starters, like if they retain Bassett as your third guy, I'm feeling pretty good about that. Oh, yeah. They're talking about the Phillies. I thought you were trashing. I thought these guys were trashing Diaz. Okay, then yes. Correct. The Phillies need, yes, they should probably go to the YMCA for some pitching. I agree.
I think they looked just fine last year pitching, but they didn't use more than 3 starters.
You know who was there? That is who I heard is at that YMCA to pick up. I heard the old Met, Mr. Batman himself, the Dark Knight. He's hanging out at the YMCA these days.
They getting a room ready for Baker Mayfield?
Yeah, I think they're gonna be roommates. Yeah, when the Panthers and Reds start cutting you, That's not good.
Yeah.
That's usually
There's
a bad
teams,
sign.
though. There's teams. I mean, the Texans might take a look, I've heard. And I get it.
Yep. Oh, with
It's
Mayfield
it
you're
it
talking about?
yeah, it's a veteran, he's a backup.
Yeah.
If you're gonna bring in a rookie, you wanna have a backup who's at least played a little bit.
Right. Yep. Makes a lot of sense. I heard the Niners might be in on them, but then Shanahan kind of put the kibosh on that. So I guess they're going with Purdy. But I don't love
Well,
the idea of Johnson as the backup.
I don't either. Well, I don't love Mayfield. There is that, but
I'd much rather Mayfield than
more than
Josh Johnson. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm no Mayfield
Well,
guy, but
I don't think they have a shot at him because their claim is 24th.
mm,
And I think they feel Houston or Indy will pick him up first.
I don't know.
But
why.
I don't know.
Why.
I don't know.
I mean,
You're not going to pick someone up with 4 weeks left in the season to be a starter.
right, on a team that's going nowhere.
Although it'd be nice if someone put Matt Ryan out of his misery.
But Mayfield's not the guy to do that. Ryan's still probably better than him. It's like, come on, this guy's terrible, and you keep bringing in worse people. It's like
he's a turnover machine.
Oh, he is.
You saw it Monday.
Unbelievable. I don't know, man. I look at
Or
this.
you saw it Sunday.
Right.
What we saw Monday was Brady breaking another record.
Can we get rid of this guy? Can we just bring him in?
Another one of Peyton Manning's records.
Ugh.
Well, if you play 1,000 years, you're going to break all the records.
That's true.
But he did break the fourth quarter comeback record.
It's amazing that Peyton held that this long.
Yeah. And how do the Saints blow a 16-3 lead late in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, they were up by like that margin, like with 4 minutes or something to go, weren't they? Like it was really late.
And then Brady scored with like just under 3 left. Got the ball back because New Orleans threw 2 out of 3 times to not let the clock run at all. And of course, he throws the winning touchdown with about 30 seconds left. Up, holding. Bring it back. He throws the winning touchdown with 8 seconds left.
Hey, fine, I'll do it again.
So I put that flag away. You're not winning this.
Oh, son of a bitch. Oh my God. What a crazy, crazy situation. All right, let's take our first break. We'll come back. We'll dive into Monday Night Football more extensively. We'll look at the question of the day. A lot of NBA games to talk about from last night. Only a few today, so we'll get to that. Of course, we'll have the top 5. A lot to get to. It's the Gary Ayd Show just getting started here on The Cave.
Do you want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right, call. Because the best prices are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at crazy low prices. They have access to great prices and discounts at over 500 different airlines. Plus 300,000 hotels and rental car companies. Their prices are too low to publish online. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find the best price for you. Call SmartFares today and get ready to see the world with a fat wallet.
800-370-2460. 800-370-2460. 800-370-2460. That's 800-370-2460.
Come on, you watch the news. Be prepared to pay more taxes. Then if you owe back taxes or haven't filed in a few years, get ready. The IRS, the largest collection agency in the world, will be coming after you with the power to collect taxes by any means they want to. Hey, they can freeze your bank account, your passport, even padlock your business. Oh, good times. Look, if the IRS claims you owe them $5,000 or more in back taxes and they're coming after you, don't panic. Call my friends at Get a Tax Lawyer first. Their job is to negotiate with the IRS and save you money. They're experts at it. That's all they do, and you can trust them. In some cases, they have reduced a $50,000 tax bill to less than $1,000. If you owe the IRS $5,000 or more in back taxes, call now for a free consultation.
Call 800-649-8617. 800-649-8617. 800-649-8617. That's 800-649-8617.
Back to the Gary Ayd Show. I'm Rich Anselmo. Gary just stepped away for a short time. CaveTalkRadio.com, the Cave Talk Radio app, Facebook Live, Cave Talk Radio NY, YouTube Live, Apple CarPlay, Android Audio. There are so many ways to hear us. You have no excuses. Something interesting, Deion Sanders met with his players yesterday at Colorado, and he stood in front of them and he said, "We've got a few positions already taken care of because I'm bringing my luggage with me." He implored them, the existing players, to enter the transfer portal. He said, "I have no problem with it because if more of you jump in, the more room you're going to make." This is essentially the New York City landlord paying the rent-controlled renter to move out to bring in a higher-paying tenant. Is it ruthless? Yeah. Is it self-serving? Absolutely. Is it appropriate? I have no issue with it. College football landed here with the transfer portal. You have to accept what happens once you bring it in. The ability of any coach to turn a college football program around quickly is a new thing. They don't have to wait to get their guys when it's all they need to do is check the portal. Lincoln Riley did it. He did it at USC. He brought in Caleb Williams, who's one of the 4 Heisman nominees. He brought him in from Oklahoma. Boom, turns USC into playoff contenders. No one complained about Lincoln Riley. Why are they complaining about Deion Sanders? In Deion's case, it means telling the current roster of Colorado, you had a 1-11 record last year. If you have issues with what I'm saying, go. Because you're going to free up scholarship place for some talent. And I want to bring in talent. That's part of the reason Deion can be so blunt. Because it's been done before. But he's taking more flack for it, and it's not right. The other part is he's Deion Sanders. I mean, even at 55, he hasn't lost a bit of swagger. Overnight, he made Jackson State cool again, so much that he landed the #1 recruit in the country over, well, every single big-name school you can think of. Sure, Deion's going to throw the traditions in the trash in favor of his own, but here's one thing. Those traditions don't work. And why would he want to continue the tradition of losing that Colorado is in the middle of? So he's not going to step lightly around their feelings. He's going to bring in a recruit on a Zoom call, and the kid says, "I'm with you, coach." And it's going to be all on video, which is going to make its way around social media so that any big-time player entering the transfer portal or any high school player who's still undecided, he knows Colorado's open for business. Now, Deion's in-your-face approach might not be for everyone, but if you're a program that struggles to attract top-tier talent like Colorado is, who's better in the transfer portal era to turn it around than Deion Sanders? I mean, he's one of the few coaches that has the stones to flip an entire roster just by him being there. For a program looking for a complete remake job, Deion Sanders was the perfect hire. There's no guarantee he's going to win. but there's a 100% chance that he's going to make Colorado football relevant. That hasn't been the case since Cordell Stewart was quarterbacking and throwing the ball to Michael Westbrook. Give the Buffs credit for getting in on Deion early, because in a year or so, the demand could be out of their reach. And a few other Power Fives just might regret balking at Deion's price. And that's just what it is, a price. Everybody has one. This is the Gary Ayd Show. I'm Rich Anselmo, just filling in for Gary Ayd for a short time. Gary had to step out. Let's take a look at some news in the NHL last night. We had a bunch of games, only one concerning a local team. The Rangers scored early, scored often, came from behind, held back St. Louis in a 6-4 win. Was it a perfect win? No, but it was a win. And when you're slumping, you take them. The Boston Bruins' 14-game home winning streak was broken by the Vegas Golden Knights, the second best team in hockey, with a shootout win 4-3. We have a full hockey schedule tonight. Local teams, New Jersey is at home to take on Chicago. And the Islanders are hitting St. Louis this time. The Blues are doing their New York tour as they're going to the island to try to get a win. It's all part of a 9-game schedule tonight. We talked briefly about Trey Turner. And yes, where that was big news, there's still holes to fill on a lot of teams. What a lot of people don't look at, everyone wants to know who the big free agents are. What a lot of people don't look at is the Rule 5 draft. They didn't do it for a year. Now the Rule 5 draft is back. And that's tomorrow afternoon at 5 p.m. It'll mark the first time since the baseball world, since 2019, is together for this in person. If you're not familiar with the Rule 5 draft, players first signed at 18 or younger must be added to 40-man rosters within 5 seasons, or they become eligible through the Rule 5. Players signed at 19 or older have to be protected within 4 seasons. Clubs pay $100,000 to select a player in the major league phase of the Rule 5 draft. If that player doesn't stay on the big league active roster for a full season, he must be offered back to his former team for $50,000. For this year, that means an international or high school draft pick signed in 2018 had to be protected. A college player taken in the 2019 draft is in the same position. I'm going to throw some names out there and some prospect rankings, and we can talk about them. Dominic Canzone, the Diamondbacks. He was picked out of Ohio State in 2019. He's the 19th rated prospect. He spent most of the year at AAA, hitting 300. He's got some power. He had 22 homers last year, a .533 career slugging in the minors, and he's shown the ability to play both the outfield, both the corner spots, and first base. It used to be where $100,000 was a lot of money, not anymore. Logan Davidson of the A's, he's their number 19 prospect. He was a first rounder, He's been an everyday player in his 2 years in the pros. He struggled in 2021 when he got sent straight to Double-A. He repeated it this season, and he brought his power up, and he plays a couple of infield spots, third base and shortstop. Lucas Ehrig of the Brewers, he was a former top 30 prospect as an infielder. And he has a really interesting story. He's overcome mental health and alcohol issues while converting to the mound. He's 27. He reached AAA last year and is starting to figure it out. He had 10.1 Ks over 9 innings last year. He has a fastball that hits the upper 90s, a mid-80s slider, and a changeup, while he continues to work on finding the strike zone more consistently. Someone else who it's worth it to take a look at. Pirates prospect was drafted out of college out of Indiana. He has raw tools. He only played 81 games last year, but he had a 2020 season. The power and speed combination does come with some strikeouts. He had a high strikeout rate, but he can play all 3 outfield spots, even dabbled at first base, and the Pirates named him their minor league slugger of the year. I'll give you one more. Jose Lopez of the Rays, a left-handed pitcher. He reached AAA for the first time last year. He moved to the bullpen. He has some issues. He's a strikeout artist. 14.4 per 9 innings. Held hitters to a 169 average. He has over 5 walks, over 5.5 walks per 9. With lefties with fastballs and swing and miss breaking stuff that is played at upper levels, usually get a Rule 5 look. That Rule 5 draft is tomorrow, and it'll be interesting to see who's picked. San Francisco Giants are continuing their talks with Aaron Judge. This seems to be the main person they're going after. They haven't talked about a lot of the details on the talks with Judge. But President of Baseball Operations Farhan Zaidi said that the Giants hosted him at Oracle Park before Thanksgiving and have met with him again. And Zaidi said, a direct quote, "Obviously, it's kind of public knowledge that we had a visit with him. We usually don't kind of comment on free agents at all, but that's out there. We had a good visit. That makes our interest official. Those conversations are continuing. We're just trying to put our best foot forward. The process continues, but obviously we have really, really strong interest. We thought we've had really productive meetings in the last couple of weeks." That's a quote. Judge has his own timeline. The Giants said they're looking to add multiple outfielders. Upgrading their defense is a high priority this winter. So they're considering center fielders, and Brandon Nimmo was in to talk to them, as was Cody Bellinger, who was non-tendered by the Giants last month. Mitch Haniger is a Bay Area native, and they're looking at him too. The Giants really want to build this outfield. Judge is the main piece they're looking at. The stickling point for the two teams involved in this, either the Giants or the Yankees, has to be a 9-year deal, which reportedly Judge wants. That's a lot of years to give someone. A lot of years for a guy who's had serious injury issues. That's got to be concerning. Now, the Phillies, with their 11-year, $300 million deal for Trey Turner, Dave Dombrowski said they were going to push the needle. He said you win with star players. Well, the NL champs loaded up. 11-year, $300 million is less than $30 million a year. That's going to be a bargain contract after the next couple of years, because big names will never go for that. You can't win with star players alone. But good star players that have won, and Turner has won, you can't lose by taking them. I mean, just look at Turner. He's 29. He helped the Phillies win it all. He's been one of baseball's best shortstops. He's a dynamic player. His WAR is 24.9, which is incredible. A .489 slugging percentage. He's the only player in the majors with more than 90 home runs and 140 stolen bases in the last 5 seasons. These are outstanding numbers. Shortstops aren't easy to come by, great ones. And there's not that many out there, although Dansby Swanson still is. And he's someone I would seriously consider. We had a bunch of great games in the NBA last night, and I know Gary's going to want to discuss them. But I have a couple basketball topics that I thought were kind of interesting that I'd like to throw out there at you. Jordan Clarkson of the Jazz was fined $15,000 for throwing his headband into the stands in a loss to Portland. The NBA released the following statement. Utah Jazz guard Jordan Clarkson had been fined $15,000 for throwing his headband into the spectators' stands. The incident occurred with 1.6 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter of Utah's 116-111 loss to Portland. Apparently, he was frustrated because they set up a play for him to try and tie the game. And Anthony Simons of Portland swiped the ball away, forced a turnover. And that sealed the win. Now, Clarkson fouled on that end, and he was subbed out of the game, and he was just angry when he threw that. I don't know if it hit anyone. I know it probably wouldn't hurt anyone, but the league didn't like it, and that's all there is to it. And he paid the price. He's paying a $15,000 price. Another story of interest, Nike severs ties with Kyrie Irving among this anti-Semitism controversy. The news came about an hour before it was reported that Ja Morant is the likely successor to Irving at Nike and in line to receive a new signature shoe at Nike in the near future. Irving platformed a film full of anti-Semitic tropes on Twitter in early November. His initial refusal to apologize or condemn the film's contents earned him suspension from the Nets and Nike. Nike also canceled its launch of Irving's next signature shoe, the Kyrie 8, from one of its most popular sneaker lines. Nike made a statement. They said, "We believe there's no place for hate speech and we condemn any form of anti-Semitism. To that end, we've made the decision to suspend our relationship with Kyrie Irving effective immediately and will no longer launch the Kyrie 8. We are deeply saddened and disappointed by the situation and its impact on everyone. Then Phil Knight was on CNBC and talking about the Nike thing, the Nike Irving relationship, and he said, "I doubt that we would go back, but I don't know for sure." Knight said that Kyrie stepped over the line. It's kind of that simple. He made some statements we just can't abide by, and that's why we ended the relationship. And I was fine with that. He's been with them for 11 years. And Nike stayed through every other Kyrie controversy. This one just seemed to push them over the edge. He was drafted number 1 overall in 2011, immediately signed with Nike. His first signature shoe came out in 2014, and he made a minimum of $11 million per year from Nike. Strange things happen. We have a short NBA schedule tonight and had a lot of great games last night. Gary's going to be in here to talk about them. We had a Monday night football game that was kind of boring until about the last 4 minutes. Tom Brady breaks another Peyton Manning record. Most fourth quarter comeback wins. And he came from 2 scores down. They won it on a Brady touchdown pass with 8 seconds left, kicked the extra point, and took the 17-16 game. I did not see it, but it had to be a snoozer. Hence the coffee. We have a lot more coming up on the show today. The second hour, we'll have the top 5. And Gary predetermined today's top 5, but nonetheless, it's a good one. Gary and I will discuss the NBA games played last night and the short schedule tonight. We have news you can use. We have a lot of great things coming up this hour. The question of the day. We're going to get to all of that before 12, right here on the Gary Ayd Show. Richard Sherman, looking at the NFL, Richard Sherman said the 49ers don't have any other choice than to play Brock Purdy. He said, you have to trust him. The only answer is that's what you've got. You don't have another choice. You need to play him the rest of the season. I mean, he had a decent night. And he said, and Sherman said, but this is a nightmare scenario for the 49ers. Jimmy G, who was saving the season, he said Purdy came in and did a solid job. And he said Kyle Shanahan deserves a ton of credit for what he was able to do with Brock Purdy on short notice. He probably never got any first-team reps, I would imagine, the entire week. But he went out there and executed the game plan. Everybody's talking about Baker Mayfield going to San Francisco, but they are not. The 49ers have been non-committal about that. What Gary said earlier, and I agree completely, Mayfield's not much. but he would be an upgrade to Josh Johnson, who was signed off a practice squad and is their only other option at quarterback. The Niners have to hope nothing happens to Purdy. Matt LaFleur came out and said he absolutely wants Aaron Rodgers back in 2023. I mean, there's two reasons this makes a lot of sense. One, how do you replace a franchise quarterback, even if he's not the quarterback he was? Two, you can cut him or try to trade him. Then it's a $99 million cap hit over the next 2 years. You do not want that. No one wants that. It would cripple your team even more than they are now. But yeah, LaFleur said, yeah, absolutely, I want him back. And Rodgers said, you never know when it's going to be your last game. He said they have great fans in Chicago, but it's been a second home for me. I had a lot of big wins here over the years and a lot of great moments. So it's fun to come back here and let them know I'm still here. I hope I stay around for a little while. Well, if it's up to the head coach, you're going to be there. Now the Packers got a decision to make. The 5th-year option on Jordan Love is coming up next year. He's played a handful of games. He's thrown 80 passes in the regular season. Probably not enough of a body of work to merit that, but what do? You can't just let him go, because if something does happen to Rodgers, then you have nothing on a quarterback that, one, you don't know how good he is, and two, you spent 4 years developing him. So something has to be said, or something has to be done. Back to the NBA. Now, Luka Doncic had a funny take on the NBA schedule. And he played an early game Saturday. It tipped off at 12:30. Mavericks won the game. Doncic had 30 points. And he said he loves playing in day games. When they asked him why, he said, it's 3 p.m. now. The game's over. The rest of my day is free. He said twice, to make sure that Adam Silver knows he wants to play in as many day games as possible. Most players can't stand weekend day games. It's earlier wake-up time. Means there's less time to party the night before. And this is really a problem for players who are on road trips in cities like New York, LA, and Miami, who all have a reputation for having great nightlife. And as for Doncic, it's not like he doesn't know how to have fun. Oh, he knows. He definitely knows how to have fun. But consider that like kind of a glass half full thing. It's a great perspective to have. And it must be nice when you're used to working late hours. It must be nice to have that that option, to have that afternoon. Interesting. Now, we talked yesterday about Trey Young having that little verbal dust-up with head coach Nate McMillan. Well, Young downplayed it after last night. He said it was blown out of proportion once it was made public. In a direct quote, Young said, "It's hard for people who don't know the full situation to understand it. It's a private matter made public, which was unfortunate. If it stayed private, it probably wouldn't have been as big of a deal." Young also said, when you're an outsider to a private situation, you should stay on the outside. I beg to differ. Reporters have jobs to do. And if they get something like this out, it's not up to them to stay on the outside. It's up to them to report it. That's their job. That's what they get paid to do. Shams Charania and Sam Amick from The Athletic both reported it. Then they doubled up on it. Young should not dictate when he plays. He missed a shoot around on Friday, and McMillan said, well, you're not going to start. He wanted to get treatment on his shoulder, and he said he'd decide whether or not he would play closer to game time. McMillan then gave him an ultimatum. You can either play off the bench or not play at all. Choice is yours. Young made the choice. He didn't show up. And you know something? The Hawks won the game. But there has to be lingering questions regarding Young and McMillan's relationship. While Atlanta's playing okay in the Eastern Conference overall, they're doing decent. Young's numbers are lower than usual, and an ongoing feud with the head coach could lead to some changes in the future if the two can't get along. I don't see them trading Young, but some change has to be made. Usually when there's an issue like this, it's the head coach that falls. That I don't want to see. But that's also something that's out of their control, out of a coach's control. Getting back to that Packers story concerning Rodgers and Love. Packers GM doesn't sound like he needs to evaluate Love further in 2022. He said if Rodgers can play, he wants to see him play. He said they've had 4 years to evaluate Jordan Love. I have no idea what that means. None at all. Does this mean they're not interested in Love in his fifth-year option? Did they not see enough, at least in practices over these 4 years? I'm hoping there's a little follow-up on that statement, because I would like to know more. Back to some more baseball news. Brandon Nimmo is going to make an in-person appearance at the winter meetings. He's a top center fielder available. The Mariners, Giants, Blue Jays, Rays, and Yankees have checked on his availability. He's talked to a lot of people, although he claims to want to remain with the Mets. Mets have to sign him and Edwin Diaz. They have a lot of internal free agents. Diaz did sign before the market even opened. Nimmo's still available. He's going to get money considering the number of teams that want him. And the fact that he's showing up at the winter meetings, what could that mean? This is going to get interesting with so many teams interested in him. And there are a lot of teams interested out there. The Heisman Trophy nominees were listed yesterday, the 4 finalists. You got 4 quarterbacks going to New York. And on Saturday, we're going to know which one wins. The favorite is Caleb Williams from USC. There are 3 other guys also very deserving. Stetson Bennett from Georgia, who's just had a couple of amazing seasons. Max Duggan from TCU. And C.J. Stroud from Ohio State. 8 o'clock Saturday is when the ceremony is going to happen. And there were some snubs. Bryce Young, the quarterback from Alabama, highly decorated, very accomplished, and he had a huge year this year. Not like his winning year, but still had a huge year. Hendon Hooker, the Tennessee quarterback, is another one very, very interesting. He was a huge snub. His season ended in late November, but he had amazing stats. 27 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions. Also rushed for over 400 yards. And a lot of people thought he was going to be on the list, and the injury might have discounted that. Blake Corum, the running back from Michigan. Now, he injured his knee a couple of weeks ago. He only played a couple snaps in Ohio State before being shut down with season-ending surgery. Not helpful that his backup came in and ran for 185 yards and a touchdown against Purdue. But Corum had a great year. And this is also just an example of how running backs are just never, ever considered for these things. A couple of other signings in baseball. Mike Clevenger signed a 1-year deal with the White Sox, a pitcher. And another pitcher, Clayton Kershaw, signed with the Dodgers 1 year, $20 million. Question is, will this be his last year? And only time is going to tell. This is the Gary Ayd Show, hour number 2. I'm Rich Anselmo, just filling in for Gary here for just a little bit, and it looks like the prodigal son has returned.
All right, I'm back.
Welcome back, my friend.
Thank you. It's nice to be back to my own show. Duty calls.
I think I took good care of it.
I'm sure you did. All right, so
and we discussed a whole bunch of stuff.
Good
Whole
stuff.
lot of stuff. Some NBA notes. Didn't touch the games.
there we go.
Some NFL notes. Touched on an NHL game. and the Heisman Trophy nominees.
You know what's interesting about the Heisman? I remember growing up, that used to be such a huge, huge thing, and it's still big. But I feel like, at least maybe it's just me, maybe I'm getting older, but like I feel like it's just not as publicly discussed as it used to be. It's not the water cooler topic it once was. And I don't really know why, because college football is just as popular as it's ever been, I think. But like maybe it's just there's I don't know, is there lesser star power maybe than there used to be? I mean, like it used to be like Reggie Bush and Vince Young, and they were like these big name guys, Tim Tebow, and now it seems like it's just like I don't know, it just doesn't feel the same, doesn't have the same zest.
Well, now the problem is, for me anyway, it's 4 quarterbacks
Right,
and 2 that were snubbed.
right.
I don't hear any other positions in there. And they're just not
Well, you can't even have like a defensive player. Like, when was the last time a defensive player was even considered? Like, seriously, it's been forever. I mean, I think Julius Peppers was like the last guy I remember being like a real candidate.
yeah. Kayvon Thibodeau was last year
Oh, you're right.
considered,
Yes, you're right.
but he ended up not coming close to the top 3 in it. And believe me, the plays he's making for the Giants show how worthy he was. He's
He's awesome. Dylan thought you were holding me hostage, Toby. But always blame the cat. It's always the cat's fault.
It's because cats always get into stuff.
Well, and the other thing is you can blame them and they don't care. So like it's great.
Right.
Like, it's okay, it's my fault. That's fine.
Fine, just provide food and
Yeah, a place to go to the
stay
bathroom.
in your lane.
That's right. Come on, human. Don't you know I let you live here?
I think we are overdue for a break.
I agree. I think we're overdue for a top of the hour break. We'll hit the top 5 on the other end. It's the Gary Ayd Show, back after this here on The Cave. All righty. Hour 2 of the Gary Ayd Show featuring me. I'm back. Imagine Gary Ayd is here on the Gary Ayd Show. What a novel concept. And the culprit of my absence, no, not really, but he gets the blame. Toby is in the house. Hour 2. Great to have you aboard. CaveTalkRadio.com is the website. Download the Cave Talk Radio app. It is the best way to listen to the show and all of our other great shows, including Scott Farrell, Ron Barr, and Rick Tittle, courtesy of our partnership with Sports Byline. The app is available in the App Store and Google Play Store, and it works beautifully with CarPlay and Android Auto, so you can just ride around, listen to the Cave all day long, just like you would Spotify, Pandora, or any other app. So great to have you aboard, Gary Ayd, Rich Anselmo. Hour 2, top of the hour. So, of course, it's time for some Jack George action. Let's go with the top 5.
This is the moment we've all been waiting for. It's time for King Talk Radio's Top 5.
And there we have it. What do we got?
Well, you picked it
I did?
yesterday.
Oh, I did.
You said, let's do that top 5 of those first basemen.
That's right. That's right. So let's do it. I guess Lou Gehrig has to be number 1, right? Like, he has to be. I mean, his numbers are insane.
Yeah.
And the only thing that stopped him is a disease we still can't do anything about, which is horrible. But, you know,
It is.
it's a bad one. That's a scary one. It really is, because there's nothing about it. Like, there's no known causes, no known risk factors. There's really no effective treatment. There's certainly no cure. It's just a random boom, and it's basically a death sentence, that ALS. That's a brutal, brutal thing.
It is. It truly is.
So anyway, but Lou Gehrig has to be number 1. And after that, man, let's do this collaboratively. This is a long list potentially, but like Fred, the reason we're doing this, to give a little context, Fred McGriff, of course, got in the Hall of Fame yesterday, and I'm curious to run through this and see if he doesn't make either of our top 5s. Let's see how close he gets. So let's go through this kind of together. So Lou Gehrig, some other names, of course, Mark McGwire comes to mind, Keith Hernandez.
Boog Powell.
Oh, Boog Powell. Yeah, that's a good one. Now I forget, was Willie McCovey a first baseman?
He started as an outfielder.
He did. Okay. Yeah, I couldn't
But
remember.
he played most of his career at first base.
He did. Okay.
A lot of his career.
Yeah. Okay. So we can count him. Let's see who else. I'm trying to think of some others. Albert Pujols, of course.
Yes. Absolutely.
Easy one. Jimmy Fox comes to mind. Double X. Looking at a list here that kind of jogged my memory. Jeff Bagwell is certainly a good one. Hank Greenberg. Now, a couple guys of interest here. Guys like Jim Tomei, Frank Thomas. Those guys mostly were designated hitters.
Tomei was a first baseman.
Yeah, he played more first baseman. Yeah,
most of his career.
Yeah, so Tomei we can put in there. Frank Thomas was mostly a DH. I don't know if we can count that or not. But
what about Miggy?
Yeah, he played some first. Yeah, played a lot of first base. He played a lot in
He
his.
played mostly first base until the last few years.
Going back a little further, what about Harmon Killebrew, one of my favorite old timers?
That was someone I was thinking about.
Eddie Murray, Todd Helton. I'll throw Frank Thomas in there just because, I don't know what other position, but
About Big Papi.
Again, say if I'm going to throw Thomas in there, Big Papi has to go. So in the interest of skimming down this a little bit, I guess we can not count the DHs. Of course, Don Mattingly and Gil Hodges, some New York area legends. Keith Hernandez is another one.
Yes.
This is a very long list. Carlos Delgado was a great player. A lot of people like Tony Perez from the Big Red Machine.
Johnny Mize.
Yeah, Johnny Mize. That's an old
go back
one.
a ways.
What about Ryan Howard? He had a long but interesting career.
He did.
And of
He
course,
did.
there-
Fielder, Prince Fielder.
yeah, I don't think he played long enough to quite make this list for me.
You don't? Okay.
Will Clark and Fred McGriff. So we just named, let's see, we named 1, 2, 3. Oh, Orlando Cepeda's another one I should mention. That's 4.
Yeah.
5. I'm going to say Rafael Palmeiro. I don't give a crap about steroids or not. 6. We got Steve Garvey is another one. That would be 7. Tony
Yeah.
Perez is 8. Delgado is 9. We have Mattingly and Hodges. That's 10 and 11. John Olerud is deserving of a mention. That's 12. Cap Anson going way back.
I'd give it to Bagwell before Olerud.
Yeah. Yep. So that's 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 20. We named basically 30 people here.
Yeah.
Just going through the list. So the answer to the
You
question.
got Hernandez.
Yep. We got Hernandez.
Teixeira.
I didn't include him, but yeah, so he would round it out because we had 28. So we have basically 30 guys here.
Wow.
And, picking the top 5, Fred McGriff's not going to clear the top 5. But
No.
I think the top 5 in some order is probably Pujols, Lou Gehrig. I would say probably Mark McGwire for me. Jimmy Fox. It's tough, man. I mean, narrowing this down. I mean, because Harmon Killebrew was so good. Willie McCovey.
Yeah, I'm not going to put McGuire over either of those two.
Okay, that's understandable.
And it's not a knock on McGuire. It's just
right. So what would your 5 be? I think Gehrig and Pujols at 1 and 2 in some order.
That's
Those are
obvious.
Easy. Yeah,
that's obvious. I do have McCovey,
okay,
Hernandez, and Killebrew.
Okay, I think I'm going Pujols 1, Gehrig 2.
See, I had those flipped.
Okay, well, you can go either way. Well, one or two of those two. So I'm going to just say Pujols at 1 just for the hell of it. But Pujols 1, Gehrig 2. We go Jimmy Fox at 3.
Ooh.
I'm going to go Eddie Murray. And I'm going
Another good one.
And I'm going to go also with it's a toss-up between Jeff Bagwell, Killebrew. I'm going to go with Bagwell just to give him a representation. Jeff Bagwell was awesome.
Good call. Bagwell, Murray, and Garvey were the 3 I hated leaving off.
Oh, it's hard. Yeah, so I'm going Pujols, Gehrig, Fox, Murray, and Bagwell. That's my top 5.
So, I like it.
Then going beyond the top 5 for me, next on the list would probably be, not going to put these guys in order necessarily. I will. McCovey, probably Greenberg would be 7. Maybe Todd Helton is a guy. But no, I still have to mention Killebrew. So I'm going to go Killebrew I'm going to go Killebrew at 6 because he almost made 5, so he has to be 6. So I'm going to go Killebrew 6. I'm going to go McCovey at 7, Greenberg at 8. And it starts getting into the interesting waters. I mean, I think it's safe to put McGriff somewhere around maybe 14 or 15.
Yeah, I had him outside of my 10.
Yeah, I think 15 is a good number because I think other names I would put ahead of him: McGwire, Helton, Thomas.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And Tomei. Those would be 4 more. So that would.
I had Tomei in my 10. So
that brings it to 12. The question is: here's a good comparison: McGriff or Hernandez. Their numbers are very similar, maybe even edge McGriff. Now, Hernandez is maybe the best defensive first baseman of all time. But
which is why he ranked so high for me.
But McGriff was a good first baseman defensively and a better offensive player than Hernandez. Not that Hernandez is a bad one, but
I don't know. There was something about Hernandez's game that
he
always appealed to me.
He played with a lot of speed, literally in his back pocket, because it was the 80s.
Right. Well, everyone did.
That type of speed.
You weren't winning.
You weren't one of the cool kids. That's right.
That's right. But yeah, it's so tough.
It's a hard one.
Because I left people off that were deserving.
Sure.
I had McGriff close to the 10, but just missing.
Yeah, I have him somewhere, I think around 14. 14 or 15 is where I have Fred McGriff.
Which makes him no less a Hall of Fame player.
Well, that's why, and this is why I wanted to go through this exercise. I kind of figured he'd be somewhere in that range, but I wasn't exactly sure. Figured somewhere between 10 and 20. I didn't know exactly where. But like the thing is, even if you're top 30 in a 200-year history, that's a no doubt about it Hall of Fame player. Why it took this long is a mystery to me. I'll never understand.
I mean, without having to expand your list of people like Moose Scourin,
Right.
And
I'll say this.
McGriff stands tall among all the people we've mentioned.
I'll have McGriff on my list before Don Mattingly. I think McGriff is a more deserving Hall of Famer.
I didn't have Mattingly up that high. So.
Yeah. I mean, look.
I thought he was a hell of a first baseman.
He was an awesome player, but injuries count, unfortunately, and he had too many of them.
Yeah.
McGriff was very healthy, very available throughout his career. And that matters. That's a fun top 5.
It's a travesty that it took that long.
It's shocking to me. And it doesn't make any sense. He was a nice guy, always accommodating to the media. There's no obvious, we know why Bonds and McGuire and all those guys aren't in. We don't agree with it, but we know the reason.
And Bonds was not the most media friendly either.
No, he was quite the opposite of media friendly. But no, but that's good though. I mean, Fred McGriff, what a great player. I was a fan of his. I remember as a kid watching his commercials, the Crime Dog commercials. Oh man, so much fun.
Yeah.
So much fun.
It's a great list.
It really is. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll come back.
Hey, we got the question of the day.
Yeah, we got the question of the day. We'll take a look.
I used up a lot of my news you can use. So
I figured. Yeah, so we'll do the question of the day. We'll look more at the NBA games. And then
we haven't I didn't touch on them.
Okay,
because I knew you'd want to discuss them.
Yeah, so we'll touch on those. We'll do the question of the day, and we'll also look maybe at some Monday Night Football stuff as well. We'll be back.
Okay, I did a little bit on that game, but
yep. Okay, that's fine. I'll give my 2 cents on it.
I left some of the meat of that for you.
Yeah, we'll give our 2 cents on it. So we'll be back after this. This is the Gary Ayd Show here in the cave.
Do you want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right, call. Because the best prices are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at crazy low prices. They have access to great prices and discounts at over 500 different airlines. Plus 300,000 hotels and rental car companies. Their prices are too low to publish online. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find the best price for you. Call SmartFares today and get ready to see the world with a fat wallet.
800-370-2460. 800-370-2460. 800-370-2460. That's 800-370-2460.
Come on. You watch the news. Be prepared to pay more taxes. Then, if you owe back taxes or haven't filed in a few years, get ready. The IRS, the largest collection agency in the world, will be coming after you with the power to collect taxes by any means they want to. Hey, they can freeze your bank account, your passport, even padlock your business. Oh, good times. Look, if the IRS claims you owe them $5,000 or more in back taxes and they're coming after you, don't panic. Call my friends at Get a Tax Lawyer first. Their job is to negotiate with the IRS and save you money. They're experts at it. That's all they do, and you can trust them. In some cases, they have reduced a $50,000 tax bill to less than $1,000. If you owe the IRS $5,000 or more in back taxes, call now for a free consultation.
Call 800-649-8617. 800-649-8617. 800-649-8617. That's 800-649-8617.
All right, we're back. It's good to have you aboard. You know, before we get to the question of the day, I do want to just make mention of something. Every once in a while, I do this because it's a big moment, whatever. And today is an example. We have the Georgia runoff today between Herschel Walker, the former all-time great football player, and Raphael Warnock, the Democratic senator, the incumbent. So just be aware that that's going on. And if you're in Georgia, certainly vote. If you're not in Georgia, please don't. It's called illegal. You shouldn't do that. And remember that when the dust settles, you're going to still go to your job the next day. You're going to still have your family. You're going to still have to eat. You're going to still have to go to the bathroom. And you're still, if you're a Lions fan, you're still going to be disappointed. So nothing's going to change.
A Lions fan in Georgia?
I don't know. Just
of course, they have their own.
Yeah, well, you could be a Falcons
disappointment.
Fan. That's true too. Yes, you could be a Falcons fan. That's very true. So there you go. I just want to make mention of that. Let's not overreact to it, however it comes out, because at the end of the day, you're gonna put one foot in front of the other the next day and go about your life. So that's the way it is. Now, question of the day. Here we go.
PGA defector Bryson DeChambeau went full Hulk during the pandemic. I am KO. Back in a minute with your sports question of the day.
If you have diabetes and you're on Medicare, you may qualify for a free continuous glucose monitor system. Managing your diabetes is crucial to your health. The new CGM systems can automatically manage your diabetes better for you. And by using a CGM system, you can eliminate forever one thing most people with diabetes hate the most: finger sticks. Now it's possible to manage your diabetes better, end the painful finger sticks, and get a new CGM monitoring system at little or no cost to you. We even provide in-home delivery and do all the insurance paperwork for you. Now is the best time to manage your diabetes better and get your continuous glucose monitor. Call 800-438-1391. 800-438-1391. That's 800-438-1391. Paid for by U.S. Med.
Bryson DeChambeau took quarantine by the horns. He turned his garage into a strength training mecca and gained crazy muscle. The kind of muscle that put more mustard on his already Happy Gilmore-esque swing. But times have changed, and so has DeChambeau's body. The PGA defector's muscles are getting smaller. During an appearance on the golf podcast 5 Clubs, DeChambeau admitted that his 3,500 calorie a day muscle maintenance diet had gotten the best of him. Question: which golf body do you aspire to achieve? Bryson DeChambeau's, Phil Mickelson's, or Tiger Woods?
None of the above. John Daly, all the way. The whole reason to play golf is you can beat John Daly.
That's right.
If I'm going to try to be like Muscle Man, I'm playing a real sport. Nothing wrong with golf, but let's be honest. It's more of an activity than it is a sport. It's impossible too. So if I'm going to go through that level of frustration, I'm eating crappy food that tastes good. And I'm drinking beer. If I'm going to try to be all fit and stuff, I'm playing a different sport. I'm running marathons or something. Yeah, I'm not doing that. But yeah, John Daly, absolutely. But Phil Mickelson's fine. You don't have to be grotesquely out of shape. The Daly did's a badge of honor. At least Mickelson's nowhere near in quote ideal shape. He looks like a regular guy. I'm down with that too. That's fine.
Yeah, but Daly owns it, and I respect.
Well, Daly's made a living. He's relevant exactly for that reason. It's his whole brand. He's the fat guy with the beard.
And he made an all-Madden team kicking a straight-on field goal. No soccer style for John Daly.
Good man. Good man. Ugh.
Speaking of live and all this stuff,
Yeah.
I have to interject here. Tiger Woods, Rory McIlroy, shut up. Just shut up. It is not your business who runs live or who is on the board or who has positions of power. Both of you telling someone they need to resign from live, mind your own damn houses and shut up. Okay. Just had to do it. I know you want this feud to continue, but mind your own damn business.
You happy now?
I'm done.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, good.
I feel better.
All right, good.
It just bothers me. It's like you own a business and I'm in a competing business and I'm telling you how to run your business. You would say the exact same thing to me.
Right.
Mind your own damn business.
I see in the earlier comments here, Dylan had made a mention of primetime on Colorado. Is he letting historically black colleges down?
And I think I answered.
Well, you replied. I just want to flesh that out. I have some thoughts on that. So, no. In fact, the problem with historically black colleges is they market themselves as historically black colleges instead of colleges. The problem is not who's letting who down. The problem is that we are trying to have these specialized colleges that are getting specialized money because of our government that wants to divide everything by skin color and gender and sex and everything else. Like, you know what Jackson State is? And also ran Division I. I don't care if they're historically black or if they're historically white or historically Indonesian or historically feline friendly. I don't give a crap what their historically anything is. You know what they're not? They're not Alabama. They're not Georgia. They're not Ohio State. They're not a relevant school. Primetime is more relevant than that school ever could hope to be. The only reason we talk about them is because of him. So Colorado is not a big powerhouse either, but it's a step in the right direction for him. Look, at some point, he's a coach, right? Like at some point, you think he's going to want to move up the chain a little bit. Maybe he has different priorities than most coaches. I'm sure he does. But like the bottom line is he did a reasonable job. He made them reasonably relevant and other mid-major.
The top recruit in the country.
Right. So, and that's all him. So like it makes sense that other schools of that stature, Colorado may be a touch above that, but it's in the same general vicinity. Like it makes sense that they would want this guy because they think, well, that top recruit didn't choose Jackson State because of Jackson State. They went to play with Deion Sanders. So he could do that here too.
And without Deion there, he's
not going to go there.
Every bit as relevant as Toledo.
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah. It's like in Division I basketball, Stony Brook. Or Marist. Marist, no offense. Marist is right down the road here, but like let's be real. No one's like, yeah, I can't wait for the Marist game unless you live here. I guess there's some local fans that like it, but it's not nationally relevant.
In one of my runs as a scout, I have been to a Marist game.
Oh, there you go. You checked it off the box.
It's been a while.
I'll tell you one thing about Marist. It is in a absolutely picturesque, beautiful area.
Oh, and the campus was nice.
Oh, it's a beautiful campus. It's right by the Culinary Institute, right on the Hudson River, right overlooking the bridge. Oh, it's absolutely beautiful. You have the walkway over the Hudson there. It's one of the nicest parts of the area. It's absolutely stunning.
It really is. I mean, I saw nothing else in the area but that. But
there is a if you're ever
some of the scenery was absolutely breathtaking. It was just
it's amazing.
By the water, it was beautiful.
It's gorgeous. Yeah, if you're ever back in the area, there's a place not too far from there that my buddy Phil took me to. It's called Rossi's, ROSSI, apostrophe S, Rossi's. And it strikes me that it's probably something in the vein of a Primanti Brothers, based on how you've described Primanti Brothers to me.
Oh, man, there's a place I've missed. Oh, man, and I was there. That's a letdown. So if I'm ever back in that area, Rossi's has to go on my list. on your recommendation. Anyone else have any food recommendations that I may not have mentioned in my travels on the show? Please drop them in. Drop them in the comments.
Now that time Max really was holding me hostage.
I believe it.
He was trying to bite things, and that's his way of saying, "Yo, I'm fat for a reason. I need more food." So, so
we all need more food, Gary. It's
absolutely
just the way it is.
Yeah, no, that was good though. But no, that's good stuff. Yeah, but no, getting back to the question. Give me a.
And I said the same thing. What's wrong with a guy having a career path?
Yep, agreed. 100%.
I don't want to see anyone held back. That's
right. And I mean, Sanders is in coaching, I believe, for a different reason. He went into it specifically in his mind trying to help the HBCUs, which
he did. And he also wants to have an impact on young lives.
Right. And he can have an impact on young lives. Well, I guess my contention, both to Dion and to this whole concept, is who cares what skin color people are? Like, let's not prioritize anyone over the color of their skin, or
let's try to lift everyone
up. Having impact on young lives. Beautiful. Perfect. Do it. Like, and there's no qualification needed for that. You don't have to say this group or that group. Like, young lives. Done.
Right.
End of sentence.
And Eddie Robinson Jr., the son of a legend.
Oh, legend. Yeah.
Eddie Robinson, his father was a legend.
No question.
Absolutely.
Yep.
But his son came out with Dion's not SWAC. He doesn't have to be. He's a head coach.
Yep.
I mean, you're setting a worst example for other people in those positions, saying, how dare you not be loyal just to this conference? When you have to be loyal to yourself, too.
Oh,
that was the exact opposite of what needed to be said, and I didn't like that either.
And the whole business of college football and major sports in general, no one stays anywhere for 100 years, except if you get one of the top 5 or so jobs.
Right.
If you're at Ohio State or you're at Alabama or, a place like that, Auburn, maybe sometimes, Michigan, okay, people could be there for a while. But besides that, I wonder, because it used to be different, but I would be interested to know in that conference since the year 2000, over the last 20 years, what's been the longest continuous tenure of any head football coach? I bet you it's under 7 years. It might be under 5. And what conference is this?
The SWAC.
SWAC.
Southwestern Athletic Conference.
I'm going to look that up. And I follow college football zero. But I'm willing to bet that in the last 22 years, the longest tenured head coach at any one school in that conference is 7 years or less. Because you know what that conference is? It's a stepping stool to the larger conferences.
Most mid-majors are, though.
Of course they are. Any serious coach uses an opportunity like that to make themselves attractive as maybe a high-level assistant at an Auburn or at an Ohio State or at an LSU, which then puts them in contention for a head coaching job at a school like that.
I've seen it here in football and basketball. Buffalo is a nice school, but it's a great stepping stone look where it took Nate Oates.
Yes, that's a great example.
And their old football coach, Lance Leipold. They both went to Power 5 schools.
Yep, great example. That's perfect. That's exactly what we're talking about.
That's what those are. They're stepping stones.
That's right.
And they should be. And no one should hold any ill will to any coach who wants to jump to a better gig.
Of course not.
But people are kind of funny that way.
Yeah, it's very true. So Scott chiming in on the Grom stuff. Yeah, you know what? They got Verlander back, though. I don't know what he's talking about with Madison Bumgarner. He might be confusing him with Justin Verlander. I haven't heard anything on Bumgarner. Last I knew, he was still being held hostage with the Diamondbacks. Just chilling.
Yeah, that's.
There.
I think they did okay with Verlander.
Yeah, I'm good with Verlander. Thank you. But there you go. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll look at some NBA games, and we'll also take a look at some football as well to wrap up the show. It's the Gary Ayd Show. Back after this here on The Cave.
Are you like me? You have health insurance, but you don't have dental insurance. Do you need to get to the dentist right away? Maybe you need an implant or some other major service. Well, I found a dental insurance plan that's just right for you. It's called Spirit Dental. Spirit Dental offers a $100 lifetime deductible, a huge network of dentists. And here's the best part. There's no waiting periods. Yeah, that means you can call right now and have real dental insurance for you and your family tomorrow and get that immediate coverage you want. Spirit Dental has plans for just a few dollars a day, up to $5,000 annual maximum, and coverage for implants. Whatever age you are, the dental insurance you need is a free phone call away. Now don't wait, and be sure to ask about Spirit's vision plan. Here's the number: 800-631-9229. 800-631-9229. That's 800-631-9229.
Hey friend, life happens and you need money. What do? You call the special toll-free number we're about to give you. We will send you a link to your phone with details on how you can loan up to $5,000. Couldn't you use $5,000 to pay for your rent, pay grocery bills, get your car repaired, or whatever you need? It's up to you. We don't care. We're just here to lend you the money. And we'll lend people money with good, bad, or no credit at all. Of course, some terms and conditions apply, and you'll see those on the link we're going to send you. So if you need up to $5,000 maybe as soon as the next business day, call this number right now. We will text you a free link with details.
Paid for by Money Mutual. Call 800-586-7112. 800-586-7112. 800-586-7112. That's 800-586-7112.
All righty, we're back. And, one thing, looking at some NBA scores, Rich, I'm really beginning to believe in the Western Conference being just a complete and total open canvas. I don't know anything about this conference. Does anyone want to win it? The more I watch this conference, Kawhi had the great game winner last night, his game back. That was a cool, dramatic, awesome story. But, I don't know who's going to win this conference. I don't even know who would play in the conference finals. This is crazy. I don't know. There's 8 teams. They're all kind of Phoenix has this great record, but I don't believe in them. Not in the playoffs, I don't.
They got wiped out by Dallas last
Yeah,
night.
they got killed by Dallas. I picked that one correctly. I didn't think it was going to be that big of a blowout, but look, right now Dallas is 9th. Can you conclusively say that if they played the Suns, who are first in the West right now, if they played them in the playoff series, would you be comfortable picking that series? I wouldn't be, and they're 9th. It's nuts. Now there's a couple of quarter season abnormalities. I think Utah at 14-12. I still think they're going to finish with a below 500 record. They got off to that crazy start. I think they're starting to play more along their lines of what's going to be normal for them, which is probably just under 500. I think the Clippers will have their record improve a little bit. They're only 3 games over 500. If they can get healthy, I think they'll step up.
All 3 guys are back. Kennard's back as well.
Yep. So I expect
and
their
you see
record.
John Wall off the bench last night, 12-12.
There you go.
Nice.
Golden State, I have to think they're going to be better than a shade over 500 at some point.
Yeah. Even though they lost last night, they're 7-3 in their last 10 games.
Yep.
They are playing better.
What about Minnesota? This is a weird team. They put a lot of equity out to win now, and they're not even 500. They're 11-12. And this is a team I don't have confidence in because this particular organization never gets it done. But their talent tells me they should be better than this. But of course, Towns is out right now.
They should, yeah, but they weren't good when Towns was there.
Exactly, yeah, right.
I mean, they won a couple games with Towns out.
That's right.
I just don't think it's a complete team. I think it's a very immature team.
Very top heavy too.
Yes, prone to mistakes, prone to lazy play, including a couple of their bigger name players, and with zero bench.
Yeah, none. We talked about that in the preseason. We thought this team will go as far as that starting lineup can carry them because they have maybe the worst bench in the NBA. One of them for sure. Certainly the worst among any team that's pretending to be a contender this year. I mean, like their bench is horrible.
And probably not the best attitude in one of the players you're building around in Anthony Edwards, who kind of plays when he wants to.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that's a team I have zero confidence in, despite their talent.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think the Lakers really have figured something out. I think
they have.
I think they're going to be a playoff team at this point. I feel pretty comfortable with that. Big test for them tonight too.
Cleveland, yes.
Yeah. That's gonna be a good.
It's funny, I don't even have to look at the schedule anymore.
I wonder why.
And the thing with Anthony Davis is, and this is not a knock on Anthony Davis, but everyone views their body differently. I don't think Anthony Davis has the highest threshold in the NBA for pain and discomfort.
I agree.
When he's not 100%, he plays like he's not 100%.
Yep, that's true.
Right now, he says it's feeling great. Let's hope it stays that way, because if he's feeling great, they're one of the contenders.
No, they are. No, they are. I mean,
and not only that division, but this conference.
The conference. No, they are. I mean, look, when Davis is healthy, you see what he can be. I mean, he's an absolute monster, and this is why he infuriates you so much, because when he's not doing this, it's like what he's capable of. This isn't just another guy. I mean, this isn't even just another all-star. This guy has the ability to play like the best player in the NBA for long stretches at a time. He absolutely does.
He does, but if he gets the slightest
anything
bit of discomfort, he's not.
No, it's true. And it's frustrating.
It is. It really is.
It's frustrating. But yeah, the Lakers are looking pretty good. Russell Westbrook has really taken to that bench role. And I really love Lonnie Walker. And I saw a graphic. It looks like right around late February, assuming standard production and relative health, we should be looking at when we're going to have a new all-time NBA scoring champion. That, of course, being LeBron James. That's going to be something that honestly, you know what? That's a record that I thought of as like window dressing, meaning like I just habitually say Kareem for my entire life. And like, it never occurred to me that was a live record that was, that like people would eventually consider breaking. I just thought it was like, 2 + 2 is 4. All-time leading scorer in history is Kareem. Like, it was just going to be like that. Like it never even crossed my mind until probably about 6 years ago, where I was like, you know what? I started looking at the numbers. I was like, man, this is crazy, but LeBron might have a chance at this. Because I just thought that was one of those records that was like never going to come anywhere close to being touched, to be honest.
A lot of people thought Karl Malone, but he aged quickly.
Well, if you remember with Karl Malone, he basically had a choice. I remember that. He basically had a choice to chase a ring with the Lakers or stay with Utah and have his normal production or close to it and be within striking distance of the record. He pretty much got to choose between the two, because I think he was like a little under 2,000 points. Like he was like 1,700, 1,800 points shy of the record. So had he played in Utah that year, he probably would have finished the season about 400 points shy. And maybe he comes back one more year. Maybe he doesn't. Who knows? But he kind of picked chasing the ring over the record. And,
and I understand that completely.
Totally made sense. But I'm looking at it and thinking, man, this record, but yeah, Kareem's record's going to be out there. And that's going to be a cool basketball moment. I hope that has the same type of magic feeling that we've had at other big moments. Like when, for example, Ted Williams was at the 99 All-Star game, or when you had the all NBA team announced this last year, the 75. Like, I hope it has the gravitas and universal wow that something like this deserves. I'm not hopeful that it will because of the polarization that surrounds LeBron as a player through
That's
really no
that's
fault of his
my
own.
that's
But
my thought. The haters are going to come out.
yeah, that's what I'm afraid of. And it's such a shame because this is an opportunity to have one of those like historic sports moments that like you'll be able to not just remember, but they're one of those moments. There's those moments in life, whether they're sports or otherwise, that you feel them anytime you think of them. Like you feel the emotions, you feel the energy, you remember where you were standing, what you were smelling, what you were wearing, who you were with. Like there's certain moments like that that just stay with you forever. And like not
Right.
just the memory, but the actual physical experience of that moment. You can experience it over and over and over again on call. And that only happens when it's just universal wow or awe. Like, that's why the 99 All-Star game was so memorable. That's
Yeah.
not going to happen here, unfortunately, but it really should
No,
because this
it
is
should, but it's not.
it's not going to. No, it won't. I agree. This record is a serious record, though.
Remember, it didn't happen with Kareem either.
No, it
And
didn't.
Kareem was never, media friendly, or Kareem's in the media more now than he ever was as a player.
That's true. And to Scott's point about it being more impressive that Kareem got it because he went to college, well, that's a faulty argument because 4 years of college, well, 3 because remember freshmen weren't allowed to play back then, so 3 years of actual playing in college, and college is less than half of one NBA regular season, not to mention all the playoffs, and it's also less physical on your body. I think it's more about, if you take it as a car analogy, it's more about the miles you drive versus the age of the car. And
Yeah.
LeBron has driven a lot more miles and maintained that high engine performance. And that's why he's going to break this record. So
Also, Kareem in his later years didn't have to carry a team.
that's true too. And also the other thing about Kareem, he played the first half of his career basically in an era of a much faster, believe it or not, a much faster pace than it's played right now. Much more shots were taken per game, lower shooting percentage. Player like Kareem, a front court guy, offensive rebounds, a lot of cheap baskets off of a lot extra misses. That stuff all matters too.
Yeah, but he also had the one shot.
He had them. Oh, I'm not trying to. Oh, you couldn't guard it.
Virtually indefensible.
No, you couldn't guard it.
2 people have blocked it more than once.
Yeah.
2 in history.
Wilt and Nate Thurmond.
Yeah, that's it.
Those are the 2. Right.
Only 2.
Along with Bill Russell, who Kareem missed by 1 year. They never played against each other. Those are the 3 greatest defensive centers of all time, probably. Maybe you could throw Elijah one in there too. No, it's so to me, I think it's equally impressive. And when you break a record like this, it's a big deal. It really is.
It should get more than what it's going to get.
Yeah. And people are going to do what Scott's doing here, which is like try to rationalize why it's not as good. But
everyone else may have a different opinion.
Oh, they can have all the different opinions they want.
Some people say he's the greatest ever. I disagree.
Yep.
Well,
you're a Wilt guy.
It's not a negative for me to disagree.
No, you're a Wilt guy, and that's
I realize where LeBron is in the pantheon.
Yep, he's in that conversation.
Wilt was also one of the greatest athletes I've ever seen, too.
Well, I would say it's.
Did I send you that?
Yeah, you did.
The Philly Freak.
Yes.
How many other people have you seen jump like that?
Not many. No, not many. I think it's fair to say that Wilt, LeBron, and maybe Shaq are like the 3 most physically dominant, imposing players in NBA history from a purely athletic, physical prowess standpoint. They were just on different levels.
And it's just a shame that Shaq never worked at it. Because
yeah, he never did.
Shaq was just lazy.
Yeah, and that's what drove Kobe nuts.
I know. Would have driven me nuts, too. Oh, I know we're running up against it here, but one more thing real quick. James Harden's back. Did you see any of that yesterday?
I did not.
The Houston win against the Sixers. My
Heavens.
God, where did James Harden go in this time?
What, did he pack on the pounds?
Oh my God, it's like he inhaled a fast food restaurant.
He was hanging out with Eric Snow.
Go look at film. Go look at the clips from last night's
right.
game, and you tell me.
All right. Well, you know what? There you go. It's a good way to end it. Good fat way to end it. PHAT, baby. Fat. Hey, we're cool, right? Too cool for school. All right. That's enough for that. We'll be back tomorrow. Thanks for listening. We'll see you tomorrow, the Gary Ayd Show, back in 23 and a half hours, as they say. We'll see you on the cave.